Morning miners, Pakratt here. Here to give you an update on what I've been up to lately, and an update to what's happened outside of here. Well, first of all, as you guys well know, there has been an update to the Mindcrack pack. So there has been a lot in it, and I mean, it didn't sound like it was going to be a huge update to a lot of people, but to some of us, it was a pretty big one. There is a lot in it that is actually quite significant. The big thing that came out, well, actually, I'll get to the big thing in a minute, but the other big cool thing is this sucker right here, the Advanced Electric Jetpack. I love this. I was actually waiting for this thing to come out. It's not just because it's a really good backpack or jetpack. That's neither here nor there. The thing is pretty sweet. I had some problems with it when I first started up because I couldn't figure out there's an actual, you actually have to turn the stupid thing on, which is completely different than the regular electric backpack. But if you notice, this one's different than the regular one in the fact that the max height is much higher. I'm at 244 right now, 245. That seems to be the max height. That's pretty decent. We want to turn back on hover. That's one of the best things. Now, this thing is not exactly cheap if you take a look, but it's not. It really shouldn't be because it's a significant improvement. On the other hand, this is something that's been a long time coming. The jetpacks that have been I think I've actually mentioned this too. The jetpacks that were available before, they were kind of paltry in comparison to each other. Like the fuel one, which is so much worse, and that I wanted to have, but it was just such a complete waste of time that I didn't bother with it after I learned about it. And the electric one that just holds zero charge, so everybody and their grandma has to come up with a way of making a remote recharging station. You know, like that one right there. I would have probably made it anyways, just because even though this thing has a ton more storage. I mean, the electric jetpack, I think it holds 1,500, and this one holds 1,000,000. That's a bit more storage right there, and I kind of like. You notice I also got Protection 4 on it too. I did have a few books left over that I just chucked it in there on, and I thought that was a good idea because I do. It's nice to actually have some armor on with these things. That's something that I think you could have done it with a regular jetpack, but I didn't really know it at the time, and I wasn't that worried about it because, well, they're cheap. So I guess this one I actually have to try and not die with. Okay, so that's the backpack. Oh, the other really nice thing about this thing is not just the fact that it's a jetpack. It's also a backpack. It's a battery backpack. It actually still works with the diamond drills and the chainsaws and all the other things that would normally work with a lap pack or something like that. So that makes it 10 times more useful to me because that was one of the biggest problems I had with switching to a backpack or to a jetpack is that, well, I couldn't use regular electric backpacks anymore because then I wouldn't be able to use my tools, and then I could, switching between the two was just an annoying concept, and I didn't want to bother with it, so I just kind of skipped the entire concept altogether for so long. But now I have everything in this one sucker, and I like that. So nice new tool. This thing is pretty fun. Been making a lot of use out of it. I'm enjoying not having to recharge this thing every 5 minutes, and same with this thing. So that's cool. So that's the first thing. That's one of the biggest things that was added to the mod, as far as I'm concerned, because now I don't have to worry about getting the graviton whatnot or the other thing because I already have something that's pretty good. The second thing, and this is the one that everyone else is talking about, I'm sure, is Xycraft stuff. Xycraft added a lot, and I'm sure that everyone's talked about this, but that doesn't mean that everyone has heard about it. Xycraft has finally added some machines. A lot of them. Hold on, let me see if I can get this. I hate how this thing just you go off of it for a second and it just disappears. Okay, so let's see what we got. We have the Xycraftiness water, soil, fire basin, liquid void, ice, blue engineering brick, all these types of engineering bricks, and you got did I just see something that said button? Button. Oh, you know what? That's probably in on my own inventory. Okay, so then you have this one. This one kind of confused me because it says it allows items to pass through. I thought that maybe Xycraft actually added something that I didn't know about, like some type of piping system. No, this is just for tanks. A lot of this is for tanks, actually. The valve is for tanks, and a lot of this other stuff. Iron plate. I don't remember what that's for. I think it's part of something else. And the liquid detectors for tanks. Then you have the fabricator, some other interesting stuff that goes along with it. A lot of the... That's a new one. I don't know where that comes from. Card reader. Reads information for miscellaneous use. What? I don't know these ones. Aluminum. There's a lot of different ones in here. I don't think that these are fully implemented yet, actually. Acts as a fertilizer. Okay, well, yeah, anyway. So there were a lot. I gotta see if any of this stuff is actually implemented yet, because some of the stuff I don't know, like the SD card, I don't know anything about that, or the card reader, or the iron. Wow, that's all brand spanking new to me. Hold on, let me just go back there a second while I'm here, because I want to see if you can actually craft these things. Aluminum wire. Nope, you can't. Okay, so that's still a new item. It's probably just not fully implemented yet. There's a lot in Xycraft that's it's just not done. I've talked about that before too. The big thing that I was waiting for initially was actually their power transfer system, because they use lasers for that whole system. And if you ever, I know people have said, if you watch Dire Wolf 20, you could see all this stuff. Yeah, Dire Wolf actually is pretty close knit with the mods. He's the one that they've all chosen to talk to about this stuff. So even though he talks like Kermit talks to a 5-year-old in the 1980s, he actually does have a lot of the information early, and it's pretty accurate with it. So I do watch him just so I can keep up to date on stuff. And one of the things that he was talking about was the update for the power. And actually, I knew about that months ago, and Slowpoke for Feed the Beast was showing some live streams of it. But that thing looks incredible. And if you just want to see a small hint of it, I would go check that out and look at the end, because that's awesome. But as for what you can do now, I know that one of the big things that you guys are going to say like crazy is the Xycraft Fabricator. And I do like this thing. This thing is wonderful. This thing does, and I like I said before, I'm sure just about everybody else has covered this. But I want to make sure that you guys all know that I know what I'm talking about too. What this sucker does is, let's say that we want. Do I have any iron? And I have redstone. And I have let's say you wanted to make it so that it does pistons. And I actually have one downstairs set up like this. It does seem like it's very similar to a lot of the other ones in the fact that it uses an interface to basically craft items, and it has an inventory over here to put stuff in. But that's pretty much where the similarities between this and like the auto crafting tables kind of end. First of all, one of the things you're noticing is that this is using ghost items. When I put this in, it doesn't take a block. It makes a ghost item. Now, that's very significant, because that is one of the main reasons that I could not use auto crafting tables for all this, because red powered tubes do not function very well with them. They pull out all the items on the inside that you're trying to craft with instead of the items that they're supposed to pull out. This, on the other hand, can't be pulled out, so you can easily set up tubes right next to it, and it'll only pull from this side. That's the first thing that's significant. Second, I'm sure you're noticing that there is some extra stuff over here, and this stuff's kind of cool. You can tell it to only craft when you have a full signal, or you can only have it craft only when it gets a signal, and it'll craft once. These are some very nice functions. As far as where the inventory needs to be, you don't. This is also, you can tell this is similar to the advanced crafting table in the fact that it uses ghost items, but it's also similar to the regular. Hold on, let me get a. No, wrong button. Get a chest. It's also very similar to a regular crafting table, or auto crafting table. It's similar to the El Cheapo version in the fact that it doesn't actually have to have the items in its inventory to function. it'll craft from adjacent inventories, and that is extremely helpful because what's missing? Oh, I missed one of those. There, see, okay, and it'll craft directly from that. Now, it doesn't need to be like that. It can also use the inventory here just fine, as you would expect, and it crafts from here, in here, and then back into here, which is kind of cool. It does do some cool stuff too. Whenever it crafts, it actually shows what it's crafting on the top. That's pretty neat, but that's just a visual effect that I'm not all that concerned with. So that's what this thing does, and this is extremely helpful to work on the storage room for the crafting aspect, because this thing will craft only when I put something into it or put something next to it. And I can even tell it to set it up so that it only crafts one at a pulse. But unfortunately, that's where its advantages end. See, while it's really good for crafting stuff, I still need something for detecting what needs to be crafted. So I'm not yet at a point where I can actually fully figure out how to use this thing. I only used a pumpkin because of something that I was working on earlier. I got a ton of them right now. So that's why that thing's staring at our face. But what it can do, though, is I already have basically the basic idea of a concept set up for the crafting. If I put a requester right here, I think it's called a requester, whatever, and tell it to only send items that will go into this chest here, and then have all these ones plus maybe one on top that's pulling stuff from this chest, and then it'll have all those items ready to be sent into any inventories that request it. Then for the spot up here, I can have a requester that stupid glitching things that will request only the items that can go into these inventories. And that should help to keep things well maintained. You could tell I'm still using the piston as an example for everything. It's such a good recipe for examples. And just have it so that the requester only sends items up here that can go into here. That could function, but it's still not perfect because there's still no way of telling it when these are empty. The only reason that this works at all is because the requester will only put something in here if there's room to put it in. You could tell one of the things that I've done so far is I put buttons in everything to keep it from accidentally filling stuff. And that's what you have to do, because otherwise it's just going to keep filling the inventory, especially this one right here. That one's like right central on everything. And this, I just don't think it's there yet. It's not quite close enough for me to be able to function with this. Now, this is not the only thing that we can do, but it's probably the best way it's going to work. What we could do is we could one of the things we could do over here actually is, instead of just having this set up over here, we could do a buildcraft pipe on top with a gate, or it doesn't even have to be a pipe; it could just be a structure pipe on top of the gate that's going to detect when this thing says it's empty, and then have it send a signal to a requester that will then fill from the bottom. And that could function. I'm tempted for that, but it's still not perfect. So, I mean, that is possible, but requesters are just such a pain in the butt to use. And I'm sure I'm using the wrong word, too. Let me just double check that. No, it's definitely not a requester. Just because I know it's driving all of you guys crazy when I say requester over and over and over and over, I'm just going to be really nice. I'm going to look up what the actual word is. You stupid freaking machine. Detector, battery box, retriever. Okay, yeah, okay. I'm going to always say requester, though, because it's essentially what it is. It's a requester, but it's called retriever. Anyway, so yeah, I put a retriever there and have the retriever send items up as needed. And have a buildcraft gate up here to fill it when it says it's empty. And it might work. It's just not that great. The other option is to, instead of having barrels all through here, just have a retriever being controlled by a button, and have the retriever feed anything that you request over to a chest at the end over here. What is this? I don't remember. Oh, this is the little example I set up. But I initially intended for there to be a chest on the ends of all the aisles anyway, so that could be a function. It would just... I just don't know if it's perfect. I'd rather just have items in chests that you could, or in chests and barrels that you could just go and grab what you need and go. And it's just not perfect yet, unfortunately. I wish it was. It's just not there yet, though. How is my... Oh, that's right. I'm trying to grab the ghost items. Of course, that didn't work. Okay, so that's what I've been doing here. But that's not all that was in the update. The other one that I'm sure many of you have already heard about over and over again is this one, the Xycraftiness soil. The soil has been used by a lot of people. What it does, not been used by a lot of people. What it does is it essentially replaces farmland, which is pretty neat because it's a type of farmland that needs. It doesn't need water. It doesn't need anything. All it does is it just sits on the... Now, they are not cheap, as you can see. It does require the green engineering bricks, which require all this stuff here, and then you need an iron, and you need 4 saplings, which doesn't sound very expensive until you start making a ton of them, because... well, let me go ahead and show you. Okay, I'm going to give you a heads up right now. We are going to my base. It's going to be laggy. We will not be staying there for long, though, so don't worry about it. I just want to show you what I have been doing with this thing. Now, I'm sure you already know, one of the big things that people have been using this for is sugarcane farms. Because the sugarcane, yeah, here comes the lag. I'm sorry, guys, but I can't exactly show you what I did without showing you what I did. I made a ton of these things too. I went to our main farm and I just started using a bunch of the saplings that we got over there. And I kind of went a little crazy with it. Let's just get to a position where I can just sit around and watch it for a bit instead of having the lag go nuts. All right, here we go. Come on, load. Fine, we'll walk over there so you load. No, there we go. Okay. So you could see the reason that people have been using this for sugarcane is because it's 100% efficient. There's no water here. Well, there's water over here from the old setup. I haven't gotten rid of it yet because I made this thing too big initially. But there's no water in any of these plots anywhere. It is completely... What am I... Oh, that's right. That's another update thing. Didn't know that was up there. That's interesting. Just so you guys know, these things now, they now cause damage. If you do run into them, they will start hurting you. That one of their initial uses was planned to be used for like pit traps and stuff like that. And they now function, so Guud's little chair over there will probably hurt somebody actually now. But the cool thing about this is one, that it actually does function without the water. The second really cool thing is this is still functioning on the old forestry farm right now. So I'm still at the old farm, and it will function. And so it's pulling at a maximum capacity. And let me just show you guys. Hold on, we're going to be a little bit laggy for a second. Going downstairs. I'm going to show you guys what we got going on down here. Oh, that looks kind of cool, though. If you look from the bottom, I love how these blocks look. They don't actually produce like you. I'm sure you know they don't actually produce light, but they do produce a neon effect that is pretty sweet to look at. So, and green's like my favorite color, so that's pretty cool. But as you can see, this thing is producing so much reed now. One of the things that it didn't do before is it was just at the point where it was producing as fast as it was receiving, and it was still producing a little bit of excess, but not very much. Now it's producing enough excess where it's completely filled up the barrel, and it's completely filled up the secondary part where it's making the plant balls. I just put that one in there in case I ever need that, but I think it's behind it. But yeah, I have it set up so that if it does fill up on that, it's going to start using them for sugar canes. This was auto crafters before. I just changed it over because I like these things more. So, or auto crafting tables. I just changed it over, so no big deal. but it's now producing enough to actually start overflowing and filling this sucker up, which is my backup supply, which I've shown you guys before. It's still going in here, huh? Yeah, I just haven't. I tossed that in there because I was actually using this thing for stuff other than that, because it's my only compressor on base, and I just needed a place for other items to go. It was just kind of shooting them off into the shooting them off. I actually used this to make that because it required a bunch of lapis blocks. So yeah, there's that. So it's now overproducing, and I have a feeling that right now, if I wanted to, I could actually turn on this third steam boiler if I wanted to, and it might actually keep up. I'm not going to because I don't need it right now, but I could. The only reason that I haven't turned it on really is because I'm probably going to have to upgrade this tank too. Xycraft's tanking system is much better than this. One of the biggest things that I find, outside of the fact that the interface for every part of it is vastly improved over this, one of the thing that I can use it the most for this setup is that the valve system for the pumping of the liquids, it actually pays attention to the level of the liquid inside it. So I could set it up so that I can have all three of these boilers at 3 different levels on this thing. So it will only pull the liquid if there's enough liquid in there to pull. So I don't have to set it up so that this third boiler is on and just watch it every single day to see if there's going to be enough liquid to keep it flowing. I can set it up to be at say the third height up, and if at the third height up it's not receiving enough liquid, it'll just stop feeding it and it will turn itself off. That is sweet. If you guys remember from when I was trying to set up the main farm for us. That's not really possible with these ones because it'll only pay attention to if the tank is empty or if the tank is full. Tank is empty, tank is full, or if there's liquid in the tank. That is the 3 things it actually pays attention to, which doesn't really help all that much. Okay, so that's this, but that is not all that I'm doing with this. There's actually there's a reason that I actually had to take this thing and move it up by 1 level. If you notice. Hold on, lagging a bit. If you notice, when you look down, and by the way, I'm just going to say this right now because I know I'm going to get 1,000 comments on this because I get 1,000 comments on this on every single video that I put out lately. I know I'm lagging. I know you have 1,001 suggestions on how to correct the lag. Let me make this very simple. You can't fix this, and I can't fix this. The only reason I'm getting all this lag is because my computer sucks. Okay, so. Please, guys, stop filling up the comments section with 1,001 ways to reduce lag. It's ridiculous. All right, enough for that PSA. But if you notice, this actually is at a level. Why did I jump? Oh, I see what I did. Okay. If you notice, this is actually at a level that is above where it's actually harvesting it. So there's an extra space of air here. There's a reason for that. I actually had to move this level up by 1 so that I can have it ready for the next phase. Because this is not where it ends. Because like you guys know, the reed farms, as well as everything else for forestry, is probably, or not the sugarcane farms and everything else for forestry is probably going to disappear at some point, which does suck. And we all have to have a way of getting around that. Now, a lot of people have been switching to stuff like Steve's carts and stuff like that, and that's a really cool setup too, and a lot of people have been looking into the red power stuff, and that's the direction I'm going. But let me show you guys what I've figured out with that, because it's a lot more than you might think. So I'll be right. I got to go to my just so we can get away from this lag-tastic area. Let me just go back upstairs real quick, just so we can get away from my lag-tastic home. We're going to go into my creative world so that you can see this without everything going nuts. So I'll be right back. Okay, here we are in my creative world. You can see I've already made a nice mock-up of this. Where is this spider that's... Okay, you're irritating. You. Come here. Come over here. A little further. No, come on, come here. And bye-bye. Okay. Anyways, now that we're done with the interrupting sheep, but you know what? We're done with the interrupting, so let's just take a look at this. Now you can see I've already made a mock-up of a really nice design. It's a pretty simple concept. As you can see, this is basically what I have set up in my base on the server. It's just a reed farm with. I'm gonna, you know what? I'm not even gonna correct myself anymore. It's a reed farm. I know it's sugarcane. I don't care. That's just set up on top of a bunch of the Xycraft soil, and then on top of that you have the block breakers. Obviously, this is going to work without forestry, and that's the beauty of this, because this sucker will completely harvest the entire thing every single time that timer right there ticks. It'll harvest every single one of them at that level. And note, by the way, why did it not? I think it just grew that quickly, didn't it? That's kind of cool. Note, by the way, that this is not at the third level, it's at the second level. And that's one of the things that I like about this. You don't need it to go to the third level. You can set it up to work on the second. And that's nice, because that does help to save a lot of vertical space with this. The second thing you're going to notice is that I'm using the redstone pipes, or redstone tubes. These ones are designed to send out a redstone signal. And for those of you that are trying to figure this thing out, this is probably going to be the most complex part that anybody can have with it. It's getting this to talk to this. Well, let me rephrase that. This to talk to the other way around. The timer to talk to the tubes, which requires this one little cover right here, because without it, it doesn't talk. This signal right here does not reach this pipe, or this tube. I don't know why he designed it that way, but he did. And I don't even know if it's a he, honestly. I don't recall who does red power. But what you need to do is you need to set it up so that you have... let's see if I got this in my inventory. So you have one of these covered by one of these. Is it this? No. I think it was the cover. Is it wooden plank jacketed? Was it this? Let's just go double check this real quick. Is it this and this? Yeah, okay. What you need to do is you need to put down this right here, the basic red alloy wire, and then cover it with a piece of jacketed wire. And the jacketed wire will cover this, and when you do that, this signal will now reach this, and the jacketed stuff will connect to the pipe, and that will communicate. Now, that's just for the basic setup, and once you start figuring this stuff out, everything else comes much easier, because once you have a signal going through, it automatically talks with all of the block breakers at once. And while this is just the basics, I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen videos that basically describe everything I just said. Now let me tell you the things that I'm sure that you did not see in some of those videos. Probably a lot of them, but not all of them. Notice that I have 3 barrels here. You have the one right here that everything is feeding into right now. That's the one that I'm just using just for testing, just to see how much is coming out. Well, actually, I just have it so that I can make sure it keeps working. The second one right here and the third one are actually for lighting testing. See, what I did is I went through and I let that timer go for 6 ticks, and it's set up for 30 seconds, so basically 3 minutes per barrel. And the first one got 64, the second one got a little bit more than 64, which for a 3-minute test, it's not that significant of a difference, and it wasn't that long after I actually had this all set up, so I'm sure that would equal that, because the reeds probably just hadn't all gotten to their first stage of growth yet. But here's the cool part. This one was with all the walls open. This one was with all the walls closed. Like, get a little higher here. A little higher here. Like so. Which means, and let me just make sure that this is absolutely clear, there is 0 light coming in here right now. It's going to be very dark. The only light that you can actually see in here is the glowing neon stuff from the Xycraft blocks, which means nothing. Let's see if I can find the door. Okay. So that means that these no longer require any light. I don't even remember if sugarcane requires light to grow in the first place. I actually said sugarcane. Huh. But I do know that with these here blocks, it doesn't matter anymore. They work without it. And they work just fine, which means you don't have to do a level of light every once in a while to keep the stupid things growing. They'll just grow just fine without it. That makes it so you can make this a 100% efficient farm in the fact that it will take no water blocks anywhere and no light blocks anywhere. It's just a straight up field of cane all the way across. And this is going to drive me crazy. I'm already going to have to fix this. Let's just move that out of there. There we go. Probably had some in my inventory too. Yeah, I did. Doesn't matter. But so that's a really cool thing. You can make this thing huge and not have to worry about it. The second thing that you might notice is that long pipe way over there. Okay, so what that is that was testing how long this pipe will actually receive a signal. I'm actually well over 100 blocks out right now, and I think I have it set up on a 10-second tick right now? I think. Because I was still testing, and let's see if you can see it. Come on. Anytime now. Anytime. I probably put it back at 30. And it went off as we were over here. Come on. Come on. Go ahead, light up. There we go. Saw that? So it does light. Now, if you can tell, you can actually, of course, see it in the mini-map thing, too. But right now we're at 24,578. And over here, okay, so 578 minus 484. That's just shy of, that's like 90 blocks. And then this gives you another 10. So that is well over 100 blocks away from this signal right here. Now, I do know that using these, I'm pretty sure that these can send a signal of 45 blocks. They do extend a regular redstone signal, but they only extend it by an extra what is that? 3 times. So instead of 15 blocks, it goes 45 blocks. But it seems when you connect them up to these pipes, yeah, they're pretty much infinite. I could actually make this here farm as large as I want it to and have it all feed directly from this one timer. I could have it be as many levels as I want and have them all go to one pipe right here and be connected to this one timer. And it'll work for the entire thing. That length right there, I could take that, go all the way that way, do the same thing all the way that way, and basically make an entire industrial complex of sugarcane, and it will still work off of one timer. That's pretty sweet. I'm not going to lie, that's kind of OP. It's kind of overpowered. Kind of. The thing that's kind of difficult about this, like I said, Xycraftiness soil, it's not cheap to make. It does, that's the wrong one. It does require all the saplings, and I went through about 30 stacks of saplings just to set up my system at home so far. And of course, that would make about like just shy of 10 stacks of iron, and then I had all these, and for every 4 of these, you get 2 of these. It's not cheap. And on top of that, you need to use redstone for each one of these pipes. Every 8 brass every 2 brass and 1 glass will make 8 of these tubes, and then each one of these tubes requires a redstone signal or a redstone dust to make 1 pipe. So you would need that much redstone just to make the system, which is quite a bit. I think this is at 15 by 15, which is 225 of everything. 225 zirconium blocks, 225 block breakers, 225 redstone tubes. And also the block breakers themselves, I mean, they're not ridiculously expensive. I don't even think I kept it in my inventory. No, I did not. Block breaker. Let's just go ahead and put one. I just put 2 stacks. Okay, that's great. I only need 1. These things are, well, they're not ridiculously expensive, but they aren't cheap either. They also require a piece of redstone, and they also require 3 iron per, because they require an iron pickaxe. And then they also require a piston, which requires redstone, which requires iron. So each one of these requires, let's see, and then they would need 2 cobble, and so they would require 10 cobble, 2 redstone. Okay, you know what? Let's just look at this as it is on each vertical piece. So let's start with. Let's go straight from the beginning. We're going to need every part of this to do the example. And I think I got it. So, for every single level that this thing needs, first of all, we need the zirconium soil, which requires, for each individual one, it will require 2 zirconium engineering blocks. And every 4 of those requires a piece of redstone. And so and you need stone bricks to make that. So you're going to have to cook up a lot of stone just to make these things. But these, I already explained the expensiveness of already. Then you're going to require a sugar cane and an air block. And we're going to do, just so I can get it up here, a block breaker and a red power tube, or a redstone tube, which means that you're going to require 10 cobble. Is it 10? 10 cobble, 1, 2, 3 redstone, 4 iron. Do I get this all right? 10 cobble, 3 redstone, 4 iron. A bunch of planks. I just did it again, didn't I? Yeah, okay. Yeah, a bunch of planks for the piston, and a few sticks for the iron pickaxe. So actually, now I think about it, 1 block of wood, because the 3 planks and then the 2 sticks, which is the equivalent of 1 plank. So 1 block of wood, and that's what you need for each vertical piece of this. And that gets expensive real quick. For this setup, that's 225. That would be what would that be? Let's see, that's 900 redstone for this. 900 redstone. It was 3, right? I think it was 3 or 4. Because it was one for that, 2 for that, right? I'm already forgetting this. Okay, so it's actually not 900 redstone. It's let's see, 450, 675 redstone for this. So yeah, 675 redstone, 900 iron, just to get this to be 15 by 15, and that's 1 level. And most of the time, you don't want to do 1 level, you want to do 2 or 3. So, yeah, it's not cheap. But I'll tell you what, though, this thing just pumps it out. And I'm probably going to end up doing this. Whenever Forestry finally updates to the point where I can't use their fancy little device anymore, yeah, I'm going to have to upgrade to this. And I might upgrade early if I want to, because it's really easy to just feed this into the regular system. All I'd have to do is, instead of having this over here, I'd have to have that pipe like right here, and have that feed into the relay. It's nice and easy. Okay, so that's basically it for what I was going to cover today. And the other reason that I wanted to record this is because even though I haven't done a whole lot myself, by the way, the Ipecac Center, haven't done a single thing. Since that last viewing, I haven't even placed down a single half slab. I'm planning on doing wooden half slabs now, too, on the outside because it's a lot cheaper and I don't have to keep cooking stone brick. But that's completely neither here nor there. It doesn't matter to you guys at all, I'm quite certain. But the thing is that you're probably not going to see a lot more videos out of me for a while because what the White Cannon tournament, even though it's ended, I am spending so much time on editing I just wanted to record this before I actually sat down and started recording the video, or editing the video for that, because I know it's going to take me forever. So I wanted to make sure that you guys got one more video out of me before I just got too busy. I also have another series that's already been recorded, and I haven't been able to put it up yet because, well, I've been too busy working on everything else, like life. So, yeah, this is going to be it. You're going to see from me for a while for new content. A lot of this is the stuff that's going to be coming out for a while is going to be White Cannon related, and that new series that I finished with somebody, and probably going to be working on another one too, actually. I will keep doing the ponderies, though, because I can record those pretty quickly. It's more coming up with them that takes a while, and I can think of them during the week. I don't have to sit down and stare at a screen for an hour to figure those out. So, yeah, that's basically it. I didn't want to leave you guys without me saying anything for 2 months or anything like that, so... yeah. So that's it. You guys have a good one.